to his land.
Hi, lovely dreamers. Tonight we'll drift back through time together, into a place where the air is touched with candlelight, and the echoes of music have long since faded. Imagine stepping into a ballroom that no one else remembers. Its marble floor gleams like a moonlit lake, and the chandeliers hang above you as if frozen mid-sparkle. The night is no longer alive with laughter or swirling gowns. Instead, you feel the hush of what lingers after. And there, resting quietly as though it had chosen this spot, lies Cinderella's glass slipper. It waits not with urgency, but with a kind of patient whisper, a secret held in crystal form. You lean close, and though you expect silence, you almost think you hear it sigh. Not a word exactly, more the way the sea hums when you put a shell to your ear. The slipper remembers. It carries the hush of midnight, the flutter of a heart that dared to hope, and the tenderness of steps that belonged to someone who had not always felt as she belonged. Now, you're not meant to run a grand search through palaces or kingdoms tonight. This isn't that kind of story. In fact, if you tried, you'd probably fall asleep halfway down the palace staircase. Those stairs do go on forever, you know. Tonight, instead, you're invited to sit cross-legged on the ballroom floor and simply listen to the slipper's quiet presence. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And if you'd like, share this little pocket of calm with your friends. Tell them where you're listening from and what time it is in your corner of the world. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You breathe slowly and notice the way the air feels in this dream place. It's cool, touched with the faint perfume of roses left too long in their vases, petals curled but still fragrant. The slipper gleams beside you like a piece of the night sky broken into shape. You might think of glass as cold, brittle, but here it feels alive. Its sheen is like moonlight cupped into form, delicate, yet enduring. You stretch your fingers out, not quite touching it, only close enough to feel that peculiar hush again. What is it that a slipper could possibly say? You expect stories of the prince, of the ball, of happily ever after. But the whisper you catch is softer. It speaks of pauses, of waiting, of the magic in being still long enough to be found. You realize, as you sit there, that most fairy tales rush toward endings, crowns, weddings, triumphs. But here in the slipper's presence, you are reminded that some of the most magical things happen in the spaces between. The slipper was left behind, yes, but it was not forgotten. It rested, patient, until someone cared enough to notice. You may smile at this thought, because maybe you, too, have felt like the slipper, overlooked at times, set aside, waiting for someone to see your quiet glow. And here, in the safe gentleness of the story, that waiting isn't lonely. It's luminous. The slipper tells you that every pause holds its own light. Every breath you take tonight is part of that magic. When you breathe in, you draw in starlight. When you breathe out, you let go of the day's heavy footsteps. And maybe you chuckle softly at the thought The slipper is secretly glad not to have run up and down palace stairs all night. Glass is lovely, but it's not made for chasing after midnight snacks in the kitchen. You lean back, gazing at the vast ballroom. Shadows pool in the corners, but they are gentle shadows, shaped like velvet curtains. The moon drifts across the windows, painting stripes of silver on the floor. And the slipper remains, unhurried, whispering its secret reminder that even when the music stops, beauty lingers. You let this thought settle inside you like a warm blanket, sensing how it eases your shoulders. The slipper, delicate yet enduring, is not really about being found or claimed. It's about being present, being still, being quietly luminous in the dark. And with that, you take one more deep breath. The slipper's hush twining with your own heartbeat, and step forward into the next part of our journey. After the clock strikes, the whole world changes its rhythm. You've felt it before. The way a party fades, the laughter trickles into memory, and suddenly you're left with a silence that hums almost louder than the music ever did. You picture Cinderella standing at the edge of that moment. Her gown dissolves back into its plain fabric, her hair unpins itself, and the pumpkin waits loyally as a carriage no more. But her heart, her heart is still trembling, glowing like embers after a flame. And you, sitting close beside her in this dream, notice that the night isn't over just because the magic clock insists it must be. Instead, there is a secret chapter that lives only in the quiet afterward. The slipper, half forgotten, lies behind her, but her spirit carries forward. She walks back into her ordinary world, yet she is not the same. The mice greet her. The hearth greets her. Even the ashes that once clung to her clothes seem softer somehow. She has danced, yes, but more than that. She has seen herself as worthy of light. That glow does not vanish at midnight. It lingers like starlight clinging to your hair after you've watched the sky too long. You might laugh softly at the thought. If midnight really had the power to erase everything, then even your dreams would vanish the moment the alarm rang. But haven't you noticed? Sometimes you carry dream colors with you into breakfast. Sometimes the laughter from your sleep sneaks into your coffee spoon. Cinderella is no different. Her dreams follow her back home. You lean closer into this idea. After the chimes, when the gown is gone and the world looks ordinary again, there is still the slipper's whisper. It follows her into her post-ball hours like a lullaby that refuses to fade. She stirs porridge. She hums while folding laundry. But deep within, she hears the memory of violins, the sparkle of chandeliers. And here's the gentle secret. The slipper is not about finding a prince at all. It's about what happens in these after moments. When she sits by the fire, brushing soot from her cheeks, she smiles a smile she's never smiled before. Because she knows now that something within her, something light and true, cannot be swept away like ashes. You imagine yourself there too, seated by her hearth. The fire crackles like old parchment curling at the edges. The slipper hums from afar, a beacon left behind, but its glow reaches even here. It tells her that even without finery, she is luminous. It tells you, as you rest here, that you also carry light inside, even on the most ordinary nights. And perhaps, if you look carefully, you notice how this ordinary world has softened since her return. The kitchen feels less like a cage, more like a place where bread will someday rise with laughter. The broom no longer drags in sorrow, but sweeps gently as though preparing a space for joy. Even her worn shoes, lined with the dust of many days, seem to nod respectfully toward the slipper she has left behind. The world after midnight is quieter, yes, but it is also deeper. It teaches you that endings are not really ends, just doorways to another kind of wonder. And maybe you smile again, because if life truly ended at midnight, no one would ever get to enjoy midnight snacks. Thank goodness the universe is kinder than that. So, you lean against the hearth, close your eyes, and feel it. The slipper's secret extends beyond the palace, beyond the stroke of the clock, into every heartbeat that chooses to keep glowing in the dark. And as you drift further into the tale, you realize that sometimes the real magic is not in the moment of triumph, but in the soft breath that follows, when the world is quiet enough to hear your own soul. Echoes of forgotten steps linger even after the floor has been swept, the cinders cooled, and the music stilled. You find yourself wandering with Cinderella through the silence of her small room, where shadows lean long across the wooden floor. Her feet are bare now, but if you listen closely, you can still hear the faint memory of slippered steps upon marble. It's almost like when you wake up in the morning and swear you can still hear a dream fading at the edge of your mind. She sits by her little window, knees tucked beneath her chin, and gazes out into the silver wash of night. The stars above look a little brighter now, as though they recognize the glow inside her. And even though she has returned to ashes and rags, her footsteps, those gentle imprints of joy, have not disappeared. They echo softly in her heart, like ripples that keep widening long after the stone has touched the pond. You imagine those steps, one by one. Each is not only a movement, but a memory, a swirl of silk, a bow of gratitude, the shy courage it takes to cross a ballroom floor filled with strangers. They live on inside her even now, carrying her forward into mornings filled with ordinary chores. And you realize something simple but powerful. Footsteps never truly vanish. They may fade from floors, but they remain in souls. Perhaps you smile at the thought because you've had your own echoes too. Maybe the laughter of a childhood friend still lingers when you walk a familiar path, or the rhythm of a song you once danced to returns unbidden while you fold laundry. These are the forgotten steps of your own life, resurfacing in unexpected ways. Cinderella's slipper remembers them too. That delicate glass holds more than light. It holds echoes. You almost think that if you placed it to your ear, like a seashell, you'd hear her laughter carried through its curves, a gentle giggle at the prince's awkward joke, or the hush of her breath as she spun beneath crystal chandeliers. It's there, suspended, waiting to be heard by anyone quiet enough to listen. She, too, hears them in her sleep. When she drifts off after midnight's return, her dreams carry her feet across that same polished floor again. But now, she walks more boldly, more freely. In dreams, there is no clock to chase her, no shadows to hold her back. Only the sweet rhythm of steps that belong to someone who has finally known joy. You chuckle softly at the picture of her slippers squeaking across the palace tiles, though glass shoes squeak less and sparkle more, you imagine. And you can't help but note how impractical they would be for chasing chickens in the morning. Some shoes are made only for memory, not for mud. Still, the echoes remain, blending with her daily steps at dawn. When she rises to sweep, her feet carry both the rhythm of chores and the faint hum of a waltz. It's as though the slipper's memory has stitched itself into her stride. And here is where you notice the true gift of forgotten steps. They remind you that joy doesn't vanish when life grows ordinary. It lingers. It hums beneath each movement you make. So, you walk alongside her, barefoot in the hush of her little room, and feel the warmth of those remembered steps beneath your own. They invite you to recall your own echoes of happiness, no matter how small, and to let them guide you gently forward. Because every step, even one long forgotten, leaves behind a trace of magic in the heart. The glass mirror of hope rests quietly in your hands now, cool and weightless, like a frozen droplet of moonlight. You tilt it gently, and it catches the glow of unseen stars, bending their light until they scatter into tiny sparks across the walls. You see your reflection in it too, not sharp or perfect like a silver mirror, but softened, dreamlike. The slipper seems to say, "Look, you are more luminous than you know." Glass has always been a paradox, hasn't it? Strong enough to hold its shape, fragile enough to shatter at a careless touch. And here, in the slipper, that paradox becomes magic. You see how it holds Cinderella's courage, her hope, her belief that a girl who once lived in ashes could belong in a ballroom of light. And the reflection doesn't just belong to her. It belongs to you as well. Every dream you've dared to whisper, every quiet wish you've tucked beneath your pillow, glimmers back at you in its surface. You hold it a little closer, and the slipper whispers a truth you already know but often forget. Hope is not about certainty. It is about daring to lean forward into the unknown, even when you cannot see the whole path. Cinderella did not know if she would be welcomed at the ball, yet she stepped through the palace doors. And perhaps you, too, have stepped into places where you weren't sure you belonged, only to discover you were meant to shine there all along. The slipper reflects that bravery. It reminds you that even fragile things can carry immense strength, like a glass bottle holding the sea's roar, or a snowflake balancing an entire winter upon its tiny arms. The slipper holds her longing, her laughter, her hope, and offers you the same reflection. You chuckle softly, imagining the slipper sitting on a royal cushion as courtiers peer at it. They see only an object, delicate and impractical. You see something else entirely. A mirror that does not show your flaws, but your possibilities. And you think perhaps it's a good thing glass slippers aren't sold in shoe shops, because imagine explaining the return policy if you wore one to chase a buzz. Yet here, in this quiet, There's no bus to catch, no urgency to run. Only the slipper's gleam, reminding you that the light you seek has always been within. You gaze into it again and notice how it reflects not only your image, but also the glow of all who have dared to dream before you. Mothers, daughters, wanderers, lovers, all those who carried a flicker of hope through their own nights. It is as though the slipper is a window into collective courage, shared across time. And so, when you breathe now, you do so a little easier. You feel as though you've been given permission to hope, to see yourself not in the ash, but in the sparkle. Cinderella's slipper does not merely fit her foot, it fits her spirit. And when you look closely, you realize it fits yours too. You set it gently on the floor beside you, but even as you release it, the reflection stays within. That soft mirror of hope continues to shine, carrying you deeper into the calm of this night. Weightless as a dream. That is how the slipper feels now as you imagine slipping it onto your own foot. It doesn't press or pinch, doesn't tug or demand. Instead, it rests there like a feather, as though gravity has forgotten it entirely. You take a step, and the air itself seems to rise beneath you, carrying you forward as if you were walking on a lullaby. Cinderella must have felt that same floating wonder. After all, she had spent so many days with heaviness. Heavy chores, heavy sighs, heavy silence pressed down upon her shoulders. Then, in one glimmering moment, the slipper reminded her that not all steps need to weigh you down. Some steps can feel like clouds, like bubbles drifting skyward, like laughter tumbling out without asking permission. And here's the secret the slipper holds. It is not really made of glass at all, or perhaps it is, but glass that has forgotten its own burden. It carries no heaviness of stone or iron, no tired echo of long journeys. It is the very opposite. It is the symbol of shedding what is too much to carry. When you place it on your foot, you are not adding weight. You are releasing it. You close your eyes for a moment, imagining what it means to walk weightless. You remember the times in your own life when burdens dropped, even just for a moment. The day a problem resolved itself after weeks of worry. The moment a friend's laughter untangled the knot in your chest. Or simply the deep sigh you give when you slip into bed, finally free of the day's shoes. That's what the slipper carries, the sensation of letting go. You giggle softly to yourself, though carefully, since giggling in a glass shoe sounds like a risky combination. After all, can you imagine running errands in it? Sorry I'm late. My slipper turned into confetti. Yet here in the hush of the story, you know it is not meant for errands. It is meant for dreams. The slipper's lightness becomes an invitation. As you walk in it, you are reminded that not everything needs solving tonight. Not every worry needs to follow you to sleep. Some can be set down gently, like leaving a shoe at the edge of the ballroom. You don't abandon them forever. You simply allow yourself to walk free of them for a while. Cinderella knew this, even if she could not name it. When she stepped across marble, her feet no longer ached from sweeping floors. She felt her spirit lifted, not because the world had changed, but because she had been given a glimpse of how light she could feel when she let her burdens go. That glimpse was enough to carry her back through midnight, back to ashes, with a secret smile tucked inside her. So tonight, as you drift into your own rest, you carry the slipper's weightless magic with you. Each breath becomes lighter, each thought softer, and maybe, just maybe, you feel your body floating too, as though the bed itself has turned into a gentle cloud beneath you. The slipper whispers once more, "Let go, let go, let go," and you do, smiling as you imagine yourself stepping through dreams as effortlessly as Cinderella once did. Her glass shoes carrying her not just across the floor, but into the heart of hope itself. The perfect fit of comfort. This is what you notice when the slipper slides into place. No pinch, no slip, no awkward shuffle to make it work. Just ease, as if it were made not only for Cinderella's foot, but for her soul. You watch her breath catch, her shoulders relax, and for a moment you can almost hear her heart say, "Yes, at last." Think of all the times you've worn shoes that didn't quite belong to you. Shoes too tight, leaving marks across your skin. Shoes too loose, clacking against the ground as if they wanted to walk away without you. Life often feels like that, doesn't it? Trying to squeeze into roles or slide around in places where you don't fit. And oh, how tiring it can be, carrying the weight of almost, but never just right. Then comes this slipper, shimmering like moonlight held in crystal, and everything changes. It is not merely about destiny or magic. It is about alignment. It is about that rare, golden feeling when the outer world matches the inner truth. When who you are finds its home in where you stand. That, you realize, is what real comfort means. Cinderella feels it too. For years, she bent herself into shapes to survive. She made herself small, silent, unnoticed. But here, in the slipper, she finds herself unfolding. Her foot rests without effort. Her spirit rests without apology. And suddenly, she does not need to prove, or strive, or beg. She simply is. You can't help but laugh softly, picturing the royal messenger fumbling as he kneels, holding the glass slipper as though it might fly away. He expects difficulty, perhaps even disappointment. Yet, when it slides on with the grace of a sigh, the whole room exhales. The perfect fit leaves no doubt, no question, no bargaining. It is as clear as the slipper itself. She belongs. And perhaps you realize comfort is not a luxury at all. It is a birthright. The slipper teaches that when something truly fits, whether it's a home, a friendship, a dream, you don't have to force it. It simply rests against you, weightless, certain, inevitable. You think of your own moments like this? The first time you curled into a chair that seemed designed just for your body. The instant a song began and felt like it had been written from your very heartbeat. Or the way a child's hand fits in yours, small fingers curling perfectly into your palm. These are slipper moments, the ones that whisper, "You belong here." And perhaps you chuckle again, because let's be honest, no one wants to discover they've been trying on shoes 3 sizes too small, in glass no less. Yet, isn't that what life sometimes feels like? Trying and trying, until at last you slip into what was always waiting. So tonight, as you drift deeper into rest, you let yourself sink into that same perfect fit. Your pillow cradles your head just right. Your blanket tucks around you as if it was sewn from the fabric of dreams, and your breath falls into its natural rhythm. You belong here, in this quiet, in this peace. The slipper reminds you, when you find what fits, you no longer need to hold yourself tight. You can soften, you can sigh, you can simply be. Stories told by Stillness. This is where the slipper leads you next. Not to the clamor of carriages, not to the glittering swirl of gowns, but to a hush so deep you can hear your own breath echo inside it. The slipper rests on its cushion like a frozen tear of starlight, and you realize it does not need words or music to tell its tale. Its silence is the story. You sit with it for a while, simply listening. At first, you think there is nothing to hear, just the ordinary quiet of an empty room. But then, little by little, you notice the way silence has its own language. There's the silence that comes when snow falls outside your window, wrapping the world in softness. There's the silence that follows laughter, a warmth still humming in the air. And then there's this silence, the slipper's silence, a silence that does not feel empty but full, like a book with invisible ink waiting for you to read it. Cinderella knew this language too. She had grown up in silence, though hers was often heavy, the silence of being overlooked, of being told she was less. But here, after the ball, after the slipper is found, she discovers a new kind of stillness, a stillness that soothes, that restores, that sings without sound. It is in this quiet that she hears herself most clearly. You realize something magical in that. Sometimes the deepest stories aren't told in words at all. They are told in pauses, in breaths, in the spaces between heartbeats. The slipper whispers through its stillness, telling her that rest can be sacred, that quiet can be powerful, that peace is not the absence of a story, but the story itself. You chuckle softly to yourself, though carefully, not too loud, because it occurs to you that if slippers could chatter, they'd probably never stop. Imagine them gossiping about every floor they've touched. Oh, you should have seen the ballroom, one might squeak. Thankfully, this slipper has chosen silence, and in that choice, it becomes wiser than 1,000 storytellers. As you sit beside it, the slipper's quiet begins to seep into you, too. Your shoulders relax, your breathing slows, and suddenly you're aware of the stillness in your own body, the pause between each inhale and exhale. You feel the story it tells. You are safe. You are here. You are enough. Cinderella sits across from you, her hands folded in her lap, eyes half closed. She doesn't need to say a word either. The two of you simply share the hush. And in that shared silence, you understand her more deeply than if she had spoken for hours. And so, you carry this slipper story within you. That stillness is not emptiness, but fullness. That the quiet you find at night, when the world grows soft and the day finally lets go, is not wasted. It is the place where dreams begin to write themselves across your heart. You lean back, letting the hush cradle you. You do not hurry it. Do not try to fill it. Just allow it to exist. And in that allowance, you realize you've been listening to stories told by stillness all along. The rustle of sheets, the hum of the fan, the lull of your own heartbeat. Tonight, you simply notice them more. The slipper smiles in its silence, and so do you. A lullaby in glass. That is what the slipper becomes as you gaze at it now. Its curves shimmer like strings of a harp, and every glint of moonlight seems to hum a note so soft you feel it rather than hear it. If you lean closer, you might even sense the faintest melody drifting from within. A song not of words, but of light. It is gentle, this lullaby. It doesn't demand your attention the way trumpets do. It doesn't stir your feet like a drum beat. Instead, it nestles against you like a cradle song, low and steady, weaving you into calm. You imagine the slipper as an instrument shaped not by hands, but by dreams, each facet of glass tuned to carry quiet instead of clamor. Cinderella must have heard it too. Perhaps as she danced, she didn't just hear the orchestra. Perhaps she also heard the music of her shoes, each step a note, each twirl a chord. That's why her laughter came so easily that night, as if she were part of a song greater than herself. And later, long after the ball had ended, the lullaby followed her home, carrying her into sleep with a melody no one else could hear. You smile at the thought of shoes that sing. Imagine, for a moment, if your sneakers tried to hum while you walked down the street. You'd probably never make it to the end of the block without laughing yourself silly. Thankfully, the slipper's song is reserved for dreamers, not joggers. The melody is tender, woven of memory and hope. It reminds you of the lullabies you may have heard as a child. Those simple tunes that somehow held entire universes in just a few notes. A hum from a mother, a soft tune played on an old radio, even the rhythmic patter of rain against a window pane. All lullabies, all invitations to rest. The slipper holds them all, wrapped in crystal. As you listen, you notice the rhythm of your own breathing syncing with it. Inhale, the slipper glows brighter. Exhale, the slipper hums softer. Before long, it feels as if you and the glass are creating the song together. Your breath, the flute, the slipper, the harp, your heart, the drum. Cinderella drifts into this song too. You see her curled beneath her blanket, one hand tucked beneath her cheek. And though the world outside may still hold ashes and duties, she sleeps as though wrapped in satin. The slipper's lullaby shields her, not with walls, but with peace. And you, sitting nearby, realize it shields you as well. Because here is the secret. Lullabies are not just for children. They are for anyone who needs reminding that rest is safe, that the world can wait until morning, that dreams deserve space to unfold. The slipper hums this truth into your bones until you feel lighter, calmer, almost as if you could close your eyes and drift away right here. And maybe you do. For a moment, your head tilts, your eyelids flutter, and you catch yourself smiling at the absurd but lovely thought that you are being sung to sleep by a shoe. Yet the slipper doesn't mind. It continues its song, patient, luminous, unending. You let it guide you now, deeper into calm, each note a thread that ties you gently to the quiet of the night. The lullaby doesn't end. It simply grows softer, blending into the rhythm of your own heart. Vulnerability's gentle glow. That is the light you notice next, radiating from the slipper, as if it remembers not just Cinderella's triumph, but her trembling too. For all the glitter of the ball, the story begins with a girl who doubted her place, who wondered if she was worthy of being seen at all. And somehow, the slipper holds both truths, the sparkle of joy and the shiver of uncertainty. You sit with this glow for a while, and it feels different from the bold shine of chandeliers. It is softer, like a lantern tucked behind a curtain, a light that invites rather than dazzles. The slipper reminds you that magic is not found only in confidence, but in the courage to show up even when your heart quivers. Cinderella's steps that night were not flawless. She hesitated at the palace door, unsure if the guards would let her pass. She blushed when all eyes turned toward her, unsure if they were admiring or judging. And she surely wondered if her patched-up past was visible beneath her gown. Yet, she walked anyway. That walk, the trembling one, that was the bravest of all. You may smile here, because perhaps you know that feeling too. Entering a room where you don't yet belong, speaking a truth when your voice wants to hide, or holding out your hand to someone without knowing if they'll take it. These are slipper moments, where vulnerability and strength walk side by side. The glow you see now isn't about being flawless. It's about being real. Glass itself is transparent, after all. You can see right through it, just as others might see through you. But instead of that being weakness, it becomes beauty. To be seen is to be luminous. And you chuckle softly, thinking how impractical transparent shoes would be in everyday life. Imagine walking into a grocery store with your socks on full display. Polka dots, holes, and all. Yet here, in the dream, transparency is the very thing that makes the slipper beautiful. It shines because it hides nothing. As Cinderella drifts to sleep in her little room, she doesn't need to pretend anymore. She is fragile, yes, but she is also strong enough to embrace it. The slipper whispers to her, "Your tenderness is not a flaw. It is your light." And tonight, it whispers the same to you. You don't need to armor yourself before you close your eyes. You don't need to have every answer, or carry every burden, or silence every doubt. Rest welcomes you as you are, tender edges and all. The glow of the slipper grows warmer now, surrounding you like candlelight. It tells you that vulnerability is simply another name for openness, for the willingness to be touched by love, by dreams, by possibility. And when you breathe deeply, you feel that glow within your own chest, a quiet fire that does not burn but soothes. So you let it stay with you, this gentle illumination, carrying you further into calm. For in the slipper's glow, you discover that the bravest thing you can do is to let yourself be soft. Calm carried through time, That is what the slipper holds now, as if every century that has passed has only polished its glow. You look at it and realize this story has lived in countless hearts, whispered at countless bedsides, passed from grandmother to grandchild, mother to son, dreamer to dreamer. And yet, no matter how often it is told, the slipper's message never grows thin. It is serenity itself, handed down like a lullaby that never forgets its tune. You imagine the slipper resting quietly in a museum of dreams, glass gleaming not with dust, but with memory. Children press their faces to the display, wide-eyed, imagining what it would be like to step inside. Mothers watch, smiling, remembering when the story was read to them long ago, and through each pair of eyes, each gentle heartbeat, the slipper's calm continues. It has survived more than dances and carriages. It has lived through ages of change, when stories were spoken by firelight, when they were inked into pages, when they were sung in songs, when they flickered across glowing screens. Through it all, the slipper's hush remains the same. It does not hurry, does not fade. It simply waits, shining steadily, reminding you that calm is eternal, even when the world around you is not. You smile softly, because perhaps you felt this too. How a single song from childhood can still soothe you decades later, or how the scent of bread baking can carry you back across years in an instant. These are your own slippers of memory, proof that peace can be carried forward, tucked safely within you. Cinderella, of course, did not know how far her story would travel. She only knew that one night of light had changed her life. Yet the slipper carried more than her. It carried the essence of possibility itself. It told generation after generation that even in ashes there can be starlight, that even in endings there can be beginnings, that even in sorrow there can be rest. And maybe you chuckle here, thinking how strange it is that a shoe, of all things, should be entrusted with so much wisdom. Shoes usually carry mud, not magic. But this one is different. It carries calm across time, like a gentle courier whose message never grows old. So, as you rest tonight, you join a long line of dreamers who have listened to the same whisper. You belong to a circle larger than yourself, a tapestry woven of quiet hearts that believed in the slipper's light. And just as it soothed them, it soothes you now. You close your eyes, the slipper's timeless glow softening your thoughts. Calm does not belong only to the past. It threads through your present and will reach into your future, too. The glass does not break. The magic does not vanish. It waits patiently, carrying serenity through every moment of your life, reminding you that peace is always within reach. Finding your own slipper moments. That's what the story invites you to do now. You followed Cinderella through ballrooms and ashes, through midnight hush and glassy whispers. But suddenly you realize the slipper is not hers alone. It is also a mirror for your life, shining back at you the little fragments of wonder that you may have overlooked. You pause, gently, and begin to notice them. Perhaps your slipper moment is as simple as the first sip of tea on a quiet morning, steam curling like a ribbon of hope, or the sound of a child's laughter, sudden and pure, echoing through a hallway like bells ringing in the heart. Or maybe it's the way the sunset paints the sky, just for you, and for a few breaths. The whole world hushes to let you watch. These are not grand palace nights, not gowns or trumpets. They are small, shining things. Yet they fit you perfectly, the way the slipper fits Cinderella. No force, no strain, just ease. They tell you, here is where you belong, even if only for this moment. Cinderella had her slipper left behind as proof of her night's magic. But you, too, have tokens. Perhaps a seashell from a beach walk, its curve still humming with the sea. A handwritten note tucked into a drawer, its ink still carrying love. A recipe passed down, its smell carrying stories of hands you miss. These are your glass slippers, your reminders that magic has touched your life and continues to do so. You chuckle at the thought. If you lined up your slipper moments on a royal cushion, the court might be puzzled. Why is there a mug with a chipped handle here? They'd ask. But you would know, because that mug held cocoa on a night when you finally felt at peace. Slippers come in many shapes, after all. And maybe tonight, as you rest, you think of a moment in your own past when you felt perfectly aligned, weightless, luminous, safe. You let that memory rise like a lantern in your chest. You see it, hold it, slip it on as easily as Cinderella did her glass shoe. It fits you still, even now, reminding you that peace doesn't fade with time. The slipper's true gift is not that it was made of glass, but that it showed her she was already enough. And so, your own slipper moments show you the same. They whisper, you don't need to wait for a palace or a crown. Your magic has already happened, and it will happen again. So you close your eyes, smiling softly, and let these quiet treasures gather around you. You feel them like stars scattered across your memory, glowing just enough to light your path into rest. Tonight, you carry your slipper moments with you, step by gentle step, as you walk deeper into dreams. The slipper as a lantern. That is how you begin to see it now, glowing not just with the reflection of chandeliers, but with a light of its own, a steady and intimate brightness. You imagine it resting in the quiet of the night, no longer on a palace staircase or in the hands of a royal herald, but sitting at your bedside like a lantern made of dreams. Its glow doesn't blind or dazzle. Instead, it hums with calm, a gentle radiance that seems to say, follow me, and I'll guide you to peace. Think of lanterns you've known. Perhaps the flicker of a candle carried up a staircase during a storm, or a lamp glowing softly in a child's room, keeping shadows at bay. A lantern doesn't push back the darkness with force. It simply holds space for light, enough for you to see the next step. That is the slipper's light now, not commanding, not overwhelming, but offering direction for the tender journey inward. Cinderella might have thought her slipper was only proof of her identity, something fragile enough to break if she breathed too hard on it. Yet, in truth, it was a guide. It carried her from doubt into belonging, from invisibility into recognition, from toil into freedom. Like a lantern swinging gently in her hand, it lit the way not only for her, but for all who would hear her story afterward. And here's a whimsical thought. Imagine if the slipper truly glowed. Every time she slipped it on, her steps would leave tiny trails of starlight on the floor, the way glowworms sketch trails across summer grass. You would follow those steps easily, not because they rushed ahead, but because they gleamed with steady patience. And perhaps you laugh softly at the idea of the palace maids trying to scrub those starlight footprints away, only to have them shimmer back again. The lantern light of the slipper invites you to notice how guidance often appears in gentler forms than you expect. Not in trumpets or declarations, but in whispers, small coincidences, quiet nudges. A friend's kind word on a difficult day. A moment of stillness when the world pauses long enough for you to breathe. The way a baby settles against your chest, reminding you that presence matters more than perfection. These are lanterns, glowing in your path, urging you toward rest, toward trust, toward peace. As you sit with the slipper's glow, you realize it is not about lighting up everything at once. No lantern does that. Instead, it gives you only the space you need. The next few steps, the next breath, the next heartbeat. And that is enough. In fact, it is a relief. You do not need to know the whole road before you close your eyes tonight. You only need to trust the slipper's soft lantern light, guiding you into sleep. The glow also reminds you of safety. In villages long ago, lanterns were hung outside doorways to welcome travelers. Ships at sea followed the steady glow of lighthouses to avoid the rocks. Even fireflies in fields seem like nature's own lanterns, sprinkling reassurance through the grass. The slipper joins this ancient lineage, carrying the same message. You are not lost, not in darkness, not alone. You smile as you picture Cinderella waking in her little room after the ball, slipper tucked beneath her pillow. Perhaps in the faint glow of dawn, she saw it catch the sunlight and thought it resembled a lantern too, promising her that the magic she lived was real and would not vanish. That is how she carried hope into her day, and how you carry it now into your night. The lantern within the slipper glows brighter as you sink deeper into calm. It is not just a symbol, but a companion, keeping watch while you rest, holding its light steady so that you do not have to. And maybe, just maybe, as your eyelids grow heavy, you imagine the slipper's glow surrounding you like a cocoon, guiding you safely into dreamland. The slipper's secret invitation. It isn't loud or obvious, and it certainly isn't gilded in gold or wrapped in ribbons. No, it's quieter than that, like a note slipped beneath your door in the middle of the night, waiting for you to discover it when the world is still. You reach for it, half curious, half unsure, and you find that the message is not what you expected at all. It doesn't say, rise, chase, conquer. Instead, it says something softer. Rest, breathe, receive. For so long, you might have thought the slipper's story was about running toward a crown or proving your worth to the world. But when you hold it closer, you discover a different truth. The slipper does not urge you to dance endlessly until dawn or to strive beyond exhaustion. Its invitation is more tender, It asks you to stop, to sit, to let yourself be cared for. It says that even royalty must sleep, that even dreamers must pause, that even glass must rest in the quiet light of the moon. Imagine for a moment if Cinderella had ignored this invitation. Suppose she tried to chase after the carriage, even as it faded into the night. Glass slippers clattering across cobblestones, heart pounding with panic. You can almost laugh at the thought of her running down the street, tripping on her hem, clutching her side. No, the slipper didn't want her to chase. It wanted her to trust, to let the story unfold in its own time, to let peace carry her forward rather than frantic steps. And maybe you feel that invitation in your own life now. How often do you chase after something? A perfect day, an answer, an approval, until you find yourself breathless. The slipper whispers, "What if you stopped running? What if you let yourself be found instead of always finding?" It is a gentle reversal, and one that feels almost radical in a world that urges constant motion. The slipper's secret is not just rest, but royalty in rest. Think of how often you imagine a queen or princess as adorned, commanding, poised. But here, the slipper reminds you of a different crown. The crown you wear when you give yourself permission to pause, when you recline into your own softness, when you honor your need for sleep as sacred. You don't have to wait for a throne to feel worthy of calm. Every night, the slipper invites you to become royal simply by choosing peace. Picture this, the slipper glowing faintly on your nightstand, like a private lantern, its light whispering across your pillow. It doesn't say, "Get up and dazzle." It doesn't say, "Be more, do more, shine more." Instead, it leans in and says, "Beloved dreamer, you are already enough. Close your eyes. Let me keep the light while you drift away." What an invitation! An offer to release the day and step into rest as though it were a palace designed just for you. And here, you might think of the simplest luxuries that feel like slippers in your own life. A pair of soft socks warmed fresh from the dryer. A blanket heavy enough to hug you without words. A lullaby hummed by someone you love. These are crowns, too, though no one might see them. They are the quiet treasures that transform an ordinary evening into something luminous. The slipper's invitation is not a command. It never forces you. It waits patiently, shimmering in the corner of your mind until you are ready to accept. And when you do, when you let yourself sink into bed without guilt, when you let your body unclench and your thoughts soften, you discover that you are not giving up at all. You are being given to. Rest becomes a gift, not a surrender. So tonight, you follow the slipper's call. You slip off the day as easily as Cinderella slipped off her old shoes. You settle into the glow as if it were a throne made of clouds. You let the world spin without you for a little while, because the slipper has reminded you of something essential, that the truest royalty is the one who knows how to rest. A legacy of gentle enchantment. That is what you begin to feel now, as if the slipper has walked its way not only through Cinderella's story, but through centuries of dreaming hearts. Its glass may look delicate, but its message is strong, enduring, and endlessly soft. This is not a relic of one night's magic. It is an heirloom of calm, passed quietly from one soul to another, like a lullaby that never loses its tune. Think of all the ways the story has been told. By firesides where embers glowed like hidden jewels, by candlelight on the edge of a child's bed, by voices weaving words in theaters, and later, by glowing screens that cast their light across family rooms. Each time, the slipper gleamed again. Each time it whispered anew. It did not shout with triumph or boast of destiny. It simply carried its calm, reminding each listener that tenderness is timeless. You can almost see the slipper being carried down a line of dreamers, resting briefly in each pair of hands. A mother hums to her child and passes it on. A teacher tells a tale to a class, and the glow extends. A tired traveler remembers the story in a foreign land, and the slipper's calm crosses oceans. It does not break, does not fade, does not crack beneath the weight of years. It endures, precisely because its enchantment is gentle. There's a little smile tugging at your lips as you imagine how some treasures of history fade away with grandeur. But the slipper has survived because it asks so little. It doesn't need a fortress to protect it, or a throne to display it. It lives in whispers, in small comforts, in quiet reassurances. Glass may be fragile, yes, but fragility can endure when it is cherished. And perhaps you think of your own legacy, the calm you leave behind without even noticing. A bedtime story you tell your child tonight might echo in their memory years from now, carrying comfort into a time you cannot see. A gentle word spoken to a friend could ripple quietly through their days, reminding them they are loved. The slipper's enchantment is not only Cinderella's, it is yours too, whenever you choose to pass on peace instead of worry, kindness instead of haste. If you close your eyes now, you can almost hear the slipper's long history, like a song sung in many voices. Some sing it softly, others brightly, but always with the same melody of reassurance. You are enough, and you are safe to rest. It's astonishing, really, that something so quiet has lasted longer than armies or empires, longer than towers of stone. The slipper's power is that it refuses to hurry, refuses to shout, refuses to break the silence. Its legacy is its calm. And maybe you laugh gently, thinking how strange it would be if future generations stumbled upon your own slippers. A recipe scribbled in the margin of a notebook, a lullaby recording on a phone, a photograph tucked inside a book. To them, these small things might gleam as brightly as glass shoes, carrying your tenderness forward. So tonight, as you let your body relax, you understand that you are part of this long, enchanted legacy. The slipper is no longer just a shoe from a tale. It is a symbol of how quiet care endures. It whispers that your calm, too, will last longer than you think, touching hearts beyond the reach of your own years. That is the slipper's greatest magic. Not a single dance, not a crown, not even a midnight miracle, but the enduring truth that gentle enchantment is never lost. Sweet dreams beneath the glass glow. That's where you find yourself now, at the slipper's final hush, when the story has carried you through shimmering halls, quiet whispers, and timeless lantern light. And now it lowers its head, inviting you in to rest. The slipper no longer feels like an object of legend, but like a companion, a tender friend that sits beside you as the night deepens. Its glow is soft now, not dazzling, not gleaming, just enough to soothe the edges of your thoughts and guide you into stillness. You picture it resting on a velvet cushion, its curves catching the moonlight in tiny sparkles, as if stars themselves had curled inside its glass. And as you look, you realize the slipper is not urging you to remember the ball anymore, nor to think of destiny or triumph. It is urging you to surrender, to set aside the day like a heavy cloak slipping from your shoulders, and to allow yourself the quiet gift of drifting into dreams. Cinderella did not keep dancing after midnight. She did not keep running once the clock had struck. She rested, and from her rest, a new life grew. The slipper reminds you that tomorrow will come, and magic will meet you there. But tonight belongs to sleep. So you listen to the hush of the world around you, the faint hum of a fan, the sigh of air against your skin, the slow, steady beat of your heart. And you let those sounds become your lullaby. You let the slipper's glow fade gently, not vanishing, but settling like a star behind a cloud, present, even when unseen. And you know, with a certainty as quiet as it is strong, that you are safe to let go now. Your dreams tonight are your palace. Your bed is your carriage. Your breath is your gown of light. And the slipper, ever faithful, rests at your side, carrying its secret magic into your sleep, whispering that when you wake, calm will still be waiting for you. And now, dear dreamer, the story slows to its final murmur, like waves retreating gently from the shore. You feel the hush wrapping around you, soft and steady, like a quilt stitched of moonlight and old lullabies. The slipper's glow is almost gone now, but not in loss, only in kindness, dimming itself so your eyes can close without distraction. The words around you lengthen, flowing like a slow river, each sentence carrying you further into peace. You do not need to follow every image anymore. They will drift for you, carrying you like a boat across still waters. You have listened to the whispers, walked the starlit corridors, felt the glass glow upon your skin, and now all of that has been enough. You are safe here, in this soft pocket of night. You are held in rest and in calm. Your breath is the only rhythm you need, rising and falling like a lullaby you've always known. And as you exhale, your body softens, every muscle releasing its weight into the mattress beneath you. The slipper has done its work. Its story is finished, and yet its legacy continues in the quiet chambers of your heart. You may not remember every detail when morning comes, but the feeling will remain. A gentle calm, a tender knowing, a trust that you are never too fragile to shine. So drift now, lovely dreamer. Drift into the landscapes of your own mind, where gardens bloom and lanterns glow, where your slipper moments wait to greet you with their secret magic. Drift until the hush becomes silence, until the glow becomes dream, until all that is left is peace. Good night. 'Night. 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 '